Hello and welcome to this Your PMO training session. This is session 3 and we're going to be focusing on the Explorer. So when we've selected our project and we have our navigation diagram here, we can choose the process we want to work on from these buttons down the left hand side. I'm going to choose the start process for this example. And we then see the pane come up titled Explorer. It has two areas within it. The first is the File Explorer tree and the second is the Details pane, and the Details pane will reflect whatever you've got selected in the File Explorer tree, which will change in size depending on what's available. So if I come and choose the Start process, you'll see it's selected Start process in Details here, and I've got some options about what I can do. And if I come down and choose a particular document, and we call these the documents, the red holders. It's everything on the that particular topic, which may consist of some files, in this case 1, or some can have 0, like this one here. And then if you choose a particular file, you'll see that file information shown on the right hand side as well. Now, depending on the type of file that you've selected, it may offer you a preview of it, and we try and not preview the most commonly used files in projects. Or it may offer you a view to download and open that file. And then you may also be offered the ability to either edit it in line or to check it out and bring the file down locally to change as well. So those options vary depending on the file type that you have selected and the type of mode that you're in. So here we're in what we call simple or basic mode, and it's just those two things: read it or change it. If we go to advanced, you'll see there's a whole load of other things that we might do, and coming back to basic, we come back into that simpler mode. So that's viewing a file. Like I say, the things that you get will vary depending on the type of file you've got. So here I've got an SPN file. That's another one of our planner type files, and we've got plans, risks and issues previewed for us there. If I come into an Excel sheet, we see we've got a preview of the Excel sheet showing to us as well. So it's pretty straightforward. It previews the type of files it can. If we're going to load in a minute a file type that's not available for preview, and then we'll see how those are dealt with in that circumstance. So I'm going to come to here, which is currently empty. It's the place where we might collect some comms information. And so I can see my browser and the files at the same time. I'm going to switch it like that. Do add, drag and drop. And then I can select items from my list here. So I'm going to pick a few different things. I've got an image here, and I'm going to pick a Microsoft project file as well. I just drag all those items on. And you'll see in the Explorer file tree, it's now expanded to show me those new items. They're retained in the original location, but we've now added copies of them to the server. And I can now come in and see those. So the Excel one, obviously I can preview. The Microsoft Project one, I can't preview because we don't have a thing for previewing Microsoft Project files. Yes to Word, Excel, PDFs, images, links to websites, our own type of files like PABX and Planner, but no to some others. But that easily covers 80-90% of most typical project files. So for example, an image file can be previewed like that, but a Microsoft Project one can't. So you see you get these different options at each point. If we want to make changes to a file, then we'll need to generally check it out and bring it locally to make the changes, then put it back in. Exceptions to that are our own file types. So if we come back up here to the mandate and our PABX file, here you see it says edit. So when I click on edit, it changes into an editable mode, and this is what makes PABX files particularly different to Word templates. You can edit them live in the browser, so you can do everything in the browser. So I can come in here and put in some details and like that, and then I can type in some information here, and in fact you can just copy paste if you want to as well, to populate these areas, and obviously these are tabbed to make it easy to get to the particular sections we're interested in. When I save that, it's going to check it back in as a new version. I can give it a description if I want to here, like this, and save. And now my preview is showing me a preview of the latest available version of that file. Really nice and easy. If we go to advanced, actually, we'll see the history trail is building up, showing us the different versions, and we could go back and look at the earlier ones, but generally in the basic mode we're always getting a preview of the latest available version of the file. So editing live in the browser, really good for PABX files. Most of the file types we can't do that. So in fact, let me just add a Word file, which I meant to do in the first place. So we've got a business case here. So I've got this Word file. I can obviously preview it and see the contents, but to change it I need to check it out. So what we're going to do is offer you a link here. That link enables you to grab the file to make changes to it. Now, the type of browser that you're working on will give you different actions when you click on that link. So we generally recommend right-clicking and doing Save Target As. You can then choose where you want to put that file, so I'm putting it onto my desktop like that. And then the browser does its thing, scanning the file, downloading it, and I can open that file. It's going to open using the associated application. So it's a Word file, it opens in Word, and I can now put some new content into my file, work on it just like any other file I would do normally. Simply save and close, and then when I'm ready I can then check it back in. I could keep working on that file, of course, until I wanted to. You can see files that you've got checked out because they've got the red cross against them like that. And when I check it back in, I need to just simply go and find that. So in this case it's going to be on my desktop. If you're always using the same location, it generally remembers it for you, or the form is in the right place to come back to, but it doesn't actually remember it, so you will need to put it in a logical place. Again, I could give a description to my check-in if I wanted to, but I'm just going to check it straight back in as a minor revision, and I can see my text is showing in the preview now, and again in the advanced I've got a version history forming for me for that file. So viewing files, pretty straightforward. Adding new content, pretty straightforward in the sort of drag and drop of add files, and working on content, whether that's content that we can edit directly in the browser or we have to bring down locally to work on and then put back in. So that's all pretty useful, and that's normal sort of working with most of your general day-to-day things. You're going to be collecting information about the project, working on templates. Generally they're the things that you're going to be doing. Of course, there are other things that might be of interest to us here. This is a standard set of documentation for a project of this type, but you can alter it if you want to. So say you've got to do some health and safety work, you can add a new document like that, and then we select that document, and in the advanced area of that we can then rename it, and we can call it health and safety like that. And now we can put our own content into there. So we can adjust this structure. We can also take things out as well if we need to, but generally it's about adding in the extra things. So personalizing that away from the standard method. You can also remove things that you've put in. Let's, for example, say we don't no longer need the Microsoft project, or we'll leave that one, actually, the image here. So again, in the advanced area, I can recycle that file. And that's going to create a recycle folder and put the file in there. Recycle folder is always here in specialist for me down at the bottom. And here are my recycle files. Now they're not automatically completely deleted, they're just placed in recycle. I could put them back into the project if I wanted to do using move file, or I can then delete that file. The choice is up to me. But it's about mostly adding things, occasionally trimming things out. Sometimes you might want to move things from one location to another, so I can find a file here and I can move it from one document to another. Perhaps I put it in the wrong place, and that will move the file and all of its version history as well, not just the latest version of the file, in the same way as recycle recycles all of it, not just the latest version. So the Explorer is giving you all those tools for managing that content against your project. That can be at the project level or at the stage level, so we can have repeatable elements of stages within our project if we want to. This is a particularly small project, so it doesn't have that. It's just got all the documents in at the project level. And obviously the things that you see vary from process to process depending on what's appropriate. So when we come to close, we've got acceptance record and then project report and things like that. So it's doing all that work of showing you the things that you're going to need at each point in the process and giving you the ability to then work on them. Okay, so that was an introduction to the Explorer. In the next session, session 4, we're going to look at controls for the project. Thank you.